While handing out flyers, I caught sight of my girlfriend Sally in a disheveled state, passionately locking lips with Jack inside a sleek sports car. When I tapped on the car window, Jack turned to her and asked, "Who's this guy?" Snuggling into his arms, Sally said, "Just a pathetic loser who's always groveling for my attention if you say the word. I'll break up with him right away." After planting a kiss on Jack, she didn't even spare me a glance before turning on her heel and walking away. Jack licked his lips, which had just been kissed by my girlfriend, and sneered, "Ah, time for you to scram, beauties are meant to be with the strong." I retorted, "I couldn't care less about the girlfriend part, but the real question is, what the hell are you doing sitting in my car?" The atmosphere instantly turned awkward. Gripping the steering wheel, Jack stared at me blankly and said, "Your car? What are you talking about?" "This is my car, plain and simple," I said. I opened the glove compartment of the driver's seat, pulled out the vehicle registration certificate, and declared, "Look, it has my name on it, so what's your excuse for being in my car? Are you trying to steal it? I'm calling the cops right now." Jack's face flushed with embarrassment. He quickly got out of the car and sidled up to me, whispering urgently, "Please don't call the police, my dad's a mechanic. I thought this car was so cool that I just borrowed it for a spin. I'm begging you, don't make that call." My eyes widened in disbelief as I raised my voice. "You call this borrowing? This is flat out stealing. Just because it's in a repair shop doesn't mean you can steal a car that's there for maintenance." With his head hung low, Jack mumbled, "Bro, I'm really sorry." I sighed in resignation and said, "Don't try to get chummy with me. I need to check the condition of the car first." He didn't dare utter a word. It didn't take me long to notice a dent on the hood of the car. I snapped, "What happened here?" Jack panicked and quickly explained, "It's not my fault. Your girlfriend insisted on sitting on the hood to take selfies earlier. She even posted a bunch of revealing pictures on her social media here. I can show you as proof." I whipped out my phone and checked, but there was nothing there. Jack promptly showed me his phone, and I realized that Sally had blocked me from seeing her posts. I looked at the pictures on his phone and clicked my tongue in disapproval. "These are some pretty bold shots, all right. You'd a better head back. Man, keeping these pictures as evidence, you can expect a court summons soon." Jack's eyes widened in horror, and he whispered, "Bro, is it going to cost a fortune to pay for the damages?" I replied, "Roughly over 100,000 yuan." In an instant, his face turned ashen. Jack quickly protested, "She's the one who caused the damage by sitting on it. Do I have to pay too?" I rolled my eyes in exasperation. "Don't you know anything about the law? You two are jointly liable. Your dad might as well have worked his butt off for nothing this year." Despite being a grown man, Jack was so scared that he burst into tears. "That damn bitch. I told her before that this is carbon fiber material. Only high-end sports cars have it, and it gets harder as the temperature rises, but she just plopped herself on it for selfies before the car even had a chance to warm up. My parents worked their fingers to the bone, and she screwed us over big time." Impatiently, I got into my car and called someone to assess the damage. I had no interest in watching him blubber. Jack wiped away his tears and wailed, "How on earth are you the one with money? Your girlfriend said you usually work part-time handing out flyers for a bunch of stores." I replied, "I'm not working part-time, sure. I hand out flyers, but those stores are all mine. I wasn't lying. My family owns the businesses of half of the pedestrian street near the university, with a total of 72 stores. What's wrong with me promoting my own stores by handing out flyers?" I rolled up the car window, too annoyed to listen to Jack's sobbing. Just then, Sally sent me a text message, "Since you've seen what happened, let's break up. Don't blame me. It's just that your parents aren't successful enough. I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than laugh on the bicycle you used for handing out flyers." I fell into a moment of contemplation. Since both the Lamborghini and the bicycle belong to me, should she be crying or laughing? He was about to reply with something like, "Just wait for the court summons." But, to my surprise, Sally had already blocked me. For crying out loud. How could she block me? Considering the cost of the car repairs, she owes me 100,000 yuan. Without a second thought about it being the girls' dormitory, I barged right in. Thankfully, it was morning, and there weren't many people in the dormitory. I made my way to the door of her dorm room. Just as I was about to knock, I overheard a woman inside ask, "Did you really do what I told you to?" And I heard Sally reply, "Yeah." I lied to him and said I took the birth control pills. The woman exclaimed excitedly, "That's great. I've been keeping tabs on your menstrual cycle and figured out that you're very likely to get pregnant these 2 days, which is why I told you to go on that date. Once you're pregnant, you'll be able to marry into a wealthy family." Sally asked worriedly, "What if he asks me to have an abortion?" The woman said confidently, "As long as you're pregnant, I have plenty of ways to make him acknowledge the child. You even broke up with your boyfriend for him. Let's see if he dares to deny it." I never would have thought that Sally would go to such lengths. Did she seriously think she could marry Jack by getting pregnant? I wonder what kind of expression she'll have when she finds out that Jack stole my car and knocked on Sally's door when she saw me. Her eyebrows furrowed in annoyance. She said, "I've already broken up with you. What are you doing pestering me? Let me tell you, it's not a big deal to be poor. Being poor and having no shame while constantly pestering a girl is really revolting." It seemed that Sally had misinterpreted my visit. She thought I was there to try and win her back. There were to other people in the dormitory, her roommates, and I knew them both before I could utter a word. One of the roommates piped up, "Please, don't stop Sally from pursuing her happiness, okay?" I was completely taken aback. So, making out with another guy in a sports car behind her boyfriend's back is considered pursuing happiness? I knew this roommate. He was Sally's closest friend, Jocelyn, and she was the one who had just egged Sally on to get pregnant. When Sally and I first started dating, Jocelyn would often make snide remarks, like how a man's love for a girl is measured by how much money he spends on her. It was because of Jocelyn's constant encouragement that I had given Sally numerous gifts. Now, I was here to get them back. I said, "Oh, we can break up, but you should return the phone I bought for you." I didn't reveal that the sports car was mine right away. Given Sally's personality, I was sure she'd cling to me like a leech if she knew. I had to retrieve what was rightfully mine first. Sally frowned and said icily, "So, you're such a stingy person. Can't you spare a thought for my feelings?" I was left speechless. It's not that I'm stingy. The point is, you've already betrayed me. Why should I care about your feelings anymore? Jocelyn suddenly covered her mouth and giggled. She said, "Can't you see through this poor guy's scheme? He's not really interested in getting the gifts that he has, just trying to make things difficult for you because he doesn't want to break up." Sally sneered. "I see you thought that if I was reluctant to return the phone, I wouldn't break up with you, right? Have you forgotten that my current man is loaded?" She held her head up haughtily and Jocelyn jumped in. "Don't be a chicken, girl. I just looked it up. Jack's Lamborghini is worth several million yuan. Buying you a new phone would be a piece of cake for him." Sally smiled and said, "I can return the phone to you, but let me make one last call first. I'll show you right now why I broke up with you. The gap between you and wealthy people is so vast that you'll never be able to bridge it in your entire life." I wondered if the wealthy person she was referring to was Jack. I remembered that when I sent the car to Jack's place for maintenance, his father had sighed and said that it was really tough to make money these days and that the money he earned wasn't even enough to cover the rent. Sally made a call, and Jocelyn quickly said, "Put it on speakerphone so he can hear. Let him know the gap between himself and others." Sally nodded, seemingly eager to show off. She turned on the speakerphone. As soon as the call connected, she said in a plaintive tone, "Brother, my boyfriend came to break up with me, and he's asking me to return the phone to him." Without the phone, how am I supposed to contact you in the future? However, Jack didn't indulge her. On the other end of the line, Jack's furious voice came through. You damn bitch! Don't ever let me lay eyes on you again. If I do, I'll beat you up every single time. In an instant, both Sally and Jocelyn were left stunned. The call was abruptly terminated. Sally stared at the phone, rendered speechless. Jocelyn quickly snapped out of it. Fuming with anger, she grabbed a book from her bed and hurled it at me. She then roared at me. Did you go around badmouthing my best friend downstairs? Upon hearing this, Sally trembled with rage. Yeah, he wasn't treating me like this just a moment ago. You must have smeared my name to others. How despicable you are. You're so revolting, I said impatiently. I didn't say anything bad about you. Give me back my stuff right now. If you didn't say anything bad about me, why is it treating me like this all of a sudden? I was at a complete loss for words. It was precisely because of Sally's flirtatious selfies while sitting on the hood of the car that Jack had incurred a debt of tens of thousands of yuan. With his family's meager income, how could he not be enraged? Jocelyn sneered. That's why I told you to be brave and go on a date with Jack before. I've long seen that this poor wretch lacks the guts to do things openly. He can only play dirty tricks behind people's backs. He's so disgusting, such a loser. I asked. So, you're admitting that you were involved in her betrayal of me, right? Jocelyn retorted angrily. Is that what you call betrayal? My best friend was in a bad situation, and of course I had to pull her out of it. Do you want her to end up marrying a guy like you? She'll be grateful to me for the rest of her life. Sally grew impatient and said icily, I can return the phone to you, but I have a condition. You go and apologize to Jack right away and admit to him that you were talking nonsense. Jocelyn cursed. That's right. Even if you have to kneel down and beg for forgiveness, you have to clear my best friend's name. They took the phone and continued. Why should I apologize for something I didn't do? Besides, we still haven't settled our accounts. I walked straight into the room and sat down at the desk to start calculating. Since we were in a relationship, I wanted her to pay back all the gifts and money transfers I had given Sally. Sally said, disappointed lie. My friends are all hair after all. We used to love each other. Do you really have to embarrass me like this? I ignored her and continued with the calculations. Jocelyn suddenly took a photo of me. With a look of utter disdain on her face, she said, I really ran into a loser today. I'm going to expose you on social media right now and ruin your reputation. I thought she was just bluffing, but when I took out my phone to check, I found that she had actually posted something. She posted a photo of me with the caption, Oh my God, girls. Never date a poor guy. The poorer they are, the more troublesome they are. My best friend has been pestered by one. It's so scary. I frowned and said, This is a personal matter between us. Why do you keep bringing up the fact that I'm poor? You might as well write snobbish right on your forehead. Jocelyn sneered. That's right. I like wealthy people. Do you have any right to be jealous? If you were rich, you'd be the one lecturing me here instead of me scolding you. Look at what you've achieved in life. Jocelyn grew more and more agitated. She walked over to the window and pointed downstairs. She said, Rich men, Dr. Lamborghinis worth millions of yuan and are filled with ambition and a drive for their careers. Poor losers like you can always sit here calculating accounts, making the girls who once loved them feel sick to their stomachs. Another roommate finally couldn't hold hurt, and said, Sally, you better pay him back. You were in the wrong in this situation. In an instant, Sally's expression darkened. Sally asked, What do you mean? Are you taking his side and speaking against me? Jocelyn sneered. Isn't it obvious? You found a boyfriend who drives a Lamborghini, and she's jealous, so she's deliberately trying to insult and slander you. The roommate's face turned bright red with embarrassment. Don't wrongly accuse me without any evidence. I knew this girl. She was a peer student at the school named Wendy. Previously, in order to show off, Sally had asked me to buy desserts for all of her dorm mates, only Wendy had refused to accept, saying that she couldn't take things from others without having done anything to deserve them. I had a deep impression of her because of that incident. Sally sighed and said, Wendy, I know your family is poor and you're relying on student loans and scholarships to get through school. I can understand if you're resentful towards the rich, but you know what? Being a decent person is more important than academic achievements. Wendy's eyes widened in disbelief. Are you saying that I don't know how to be a decent person? I was also left stunned. Wendy studies incredibly hard and is excellent both in character and academics. But what about Sally? She had just been sitting in the car, passionately kissing the wealthy man she fancied right in front of me, her boyfriend. How could she have the audacity to say that Wendy didn't know how to be a decent person? What utter nonsense. Jocelyn sneered. I know your kind of broke loser girls all too well. You know he's single now, and you're trying to act all innocent to win his favor. You also know that you're not worthy of getting close to a man who drives a Lamborghini, so you're not even letting go of a flyer guy who only makes $3,000 on a month. Wendy clenched her fists in anger and stood up. I also work part-time as a tutor, and I can earn $2,000 on a month. Jocelyn scoffed. For someone like you, even a small amount of money is precious. I saw you pick up the rice that fell on the table and eat it yesterday. A poor woman like you will naturally not be picky about men. Andy's eyes welled up with tears and she said in a trembling voice, the rice just fell on the table, not on the ground. What's so embarrassing about that? Enough, Sally roared, cutting off our conversation. She slammed the phone down on the table and said to me, You've really made me lose face. I regret the most that I ever dated you. Hurry up and calculate our accounts clearly. And then, I'll go and explain things to my new boyfriend. Jocelyn quickly said, Don't be afraid, girl. I'll go with you to explain then. The rumors will be self-defeating, and you'll still be the little darling of the wealthy guy. I was too fed up with these two women to pay them any more attention and focused on calculating the accounts seriously. Of course, I didn't include the cost of repairing the sports car. I was worried that Sally would cling to me shamelessly and try to get back together if she knew the full amount. The total value of the small gifts came to 18,000 yuan. After calculating this sum, I was completely stunned. It turned out that being in a relationship costs so much money. I only spend a few hundred yuan on my living expenses each month. I really had no idea until I calculated it, and it's quite a shock. It wasn't just me who was taken aback. Even Sally and Jocelyn were a bit stunned. After all, they were both students. Where on earth could they come up with more than 10,000 yuan? At first, they didn't want to believe it and recalculated several times before finally confirming that my figure was accurate. Sally was immediately in a difficult position. 18,000. I can't come up with that amount for now. Jocelyn grew anxious and quickly said, Don't be a coward, girl. I'll help you pay it back together. Your attitude towards this loser right now will determine Jack's attitude towards you. Even if we have to borrow from loan sharks, we must pay off this debt. You should break up with this poor guy as soon as possible if you want a chance to marry into a wealthy family. Sally was eventually swayed by Jocelyn's words. She nodded and said, Okay, let's find a way to borrow some money first. We can't let my family know, or my parents will kill me. I didn't know what to say. If they would kill her for just over 10,000 yuan. Then when the repair bill of nearly 100,000 yuan was sent to her home, wouldn't her parents be even more furious and want to punish her severely? Sally and Jocelyn immediately started contacting people to borrow money. Surprisingly, they found it very easy to borrow. Classmates chipped in a few hundred yuan each, and they all lent money to Sally. Sally herself thought it was effortless to get the money and couldn't help but say, I guess I have a good reputation. Everyone is willing to lend me money. Jocelyn laughed and said, It's because of the selfies you posted on social media. You were sitting in a sports car worth millions of yuan. Of course, everyone is willing to lend you this small amount of money. Sally suddenly understood. She glanced at me and said, "Can you see? This is the real charm of a man. It makes everyone worship him and they're all eager to lend me money, just hoping to become friends with him. If I were still with you and faced difficulties, would anyone offer me a helping hand?" Jocelyn sneered. "Difficulties? Being with him is already the biggest disaster in your life." They kept borrowing money and finally managed to gather over 8,000 yuan, but there was still a gap of 10,000 yuan. Jocelyn gritted her teeth and said, "I know a guy in the underworld. He can lend me the money. But if we can't pay it back later, things will be really bad." Sally asked worriedly, "What will happen if we can't pay it back?" Jocelyn said, "Don't worry about that for now. Your new boyfriend is so rich and 1,000 yuan is just a drop in the bucket for him." Jocelyn quickly contacted the so-called underworld figure. It was evident that this person was likely a professional private lender, and he readily lent them 10,000 yuan. After they managed to gather enough money and returned it to me, Sally threw the phone at me and said angrily, "Are you satisfied now? Get lost. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other." I nodded and turned to Wendy, saying, "Come out with me for a moment." Wendy looked at me in surprise, seemingly not understanding why I had called her. Jocelyn immediately sneered. "I knew there was something going on between you two as soon as you paid back the money. You two are getting together." I felt helpless. I wanted to find Wendy because she worked in the student union and had everyone's contact information book. Since I wanted to send a court summons to Sally's home, I definitely needed her home address. Wendy's face turned bright red, and she lowered her head and walked out with me. Jocelyn mocked again. "You really went out with him? You're only fit for the second-hand goods that Sally discarded." Wendy was on the verge of tears. "I don't have that kind of intention." Jocelyn cursed. "You're such a fake. Keep pretending. No wonder your family is so poor. Your family's poverty must be due to your genes. Look at how you're trying to please a flyer guy you raised so desperate that you'll take anyone. I can tell what kind of people your parents are." Sally looked at us with disdain and sneered. Fortunately, I broke up with him. I'll give this good-for-nothing man to you. I'll also give you a piece of advice. Bitches and dogs deserve each other, and they can be together forever. I led Wendy out of the dorm room and into the corridor. Wendy whispered, "I just couldn't hold back and said those things. Don't think too much about it. I just want to focus on my studies right now. Don't have any of the intentions they mentioned." I nodded and said, "I know you. Ray going for scholarships and working as a tutor. You don't have time for a relationship." Wendy asked curiously, "Then, what do you want from me?" I said, "I know you have the contact information book. Can you give me Sally's home address?" On hearing this, Wendy became anxious. "What do you want to do? Don't do anything stupid." She seemed so worried that she suddenly grabbed my hand. Looking into my eyes, Wendy said earnestly, "Although we're poor, we have our pride. The ones in the wrong are others. Don't ruin your future because of their mistakes." There was a moment of silence, and I didn't know how to respond to her. Did this girl really think I was going to seek revenge on Sally's family and end up destroying myself in the process? Only then did Wendy realize that she had grabbed my hand in a hurry. She quickly let go and said with a blushing face, "You work hard and are very determined. You deserve a better life. I believe that in 10 years' time, Sally will regret her choice." I said, "It won't take 10 years. I've already asked someone from the car repair shop to assess the damage if her home is in the city. She'll regret it very soon." Wendy was stunned and asked me what I meant. I said that the sports car downstairs belonged to me. She stared at me, completely dumbfounded.